Welcome to our video guide on how to train clients for MTD. This video is produced by AccountingWEB in association with Sage, and I'm John Stokdyk for AccountingWEB. With me, I've got Emily Smith from Finlayson Co and Chris Downing from Sage. And over the next 15 minutes or so, we're just going to go into some practical nuts and bolts about what you can do to train and equip your clients for MTD. Chris, maybe can I turn to you to set the scene? The first thing that we hear from accountants often about MTD is in digital record keeping is my clients can't do it. Now you've supported thousands of accountants at Sage through the first phases of MTD. Can you give us some suggestions or just tell us how the profession has responded to the challenge overall and what people can learn from that and apply to the next wave?
Yeah, so let's just go back in time a couple of years to MTD for VAT. The number of quite sensible businesses who are still using manual records to actually prepare their VAT returns either in an Excel and then submitting them manually, they all had to move to a digital solution, bookkeeping solution, raising sales invoices differently, actually having processes in place to actually reconcile the bank. Now, with MTD for VAT, that was probably all done in quite a short period of time. Now, I think some of the lessons learned from that was to really start early, create some really good case studies or examples within your firm in terms of clients seeing value from using technology, but also more importantly, thinking about being patient, because like anything, change, people don't like it, but also we've been seeing over the last 12 to 18 months in terms of the change and adoption, and more importantly, the appreciation of technology by small businesses. And this is what we need to think about, is not really how accountants feel about their clients' needs, but actually what do our clients actually want going forward over the next couple of years. And really just giving them options is probably the best approach in terms of actually creating awareness in terms of what's available and how they can actually improve their business going forward.
Emily, can I bring you in here? The scale of the sort of exercise is what's coming next is going to kind of put the first phase in the shadows. I mean, I think we've got the intake for, I think a lot of accountants have actually moved their clients under the VAT threshold in early to MTD for VAT, but there's still going to be a big chunk coming into the regime in April 22. But then now with April 2024 looming for MTD for income tax, that's going to double the population, double the intake, and it's going to be a completely new processes. Looking at that timetable and what you've done before, how are you building client training into your overall MTD plan?
We've adopted quite a few strategies with training clients and getting everybody up to speed with MTD. The first port of call for us was ensuring the staff was all up to date with everything and on board with the training, and spreading that responsibility throughout the office, and making sure that everybody was involved with the process of onboarding clients for MTD. The next phase of our stage now, we've opened up communications with clients that we know are more technically able and more interested in actually going onto digital software, and working his way through those and getting those on board. What we have done and have seen is quite a few people, well, clients in particular, that are very interested in the benefits that it can bring to them. So opening up them communications, we all know our client base, we know what our clients are like. So opening up communications with those clients that will be willing to go onto the software, no questions asked, and actually quite intrigued by it, is our first stage. And then working through the clients that are more technically adverse in the next year or so.
Chris, do you see that more widely, that firms taking that sort of different courses, different horses for different courses route? Do you see variety in how to approach your clients?
Oh yes, certainly, because when you take a typical accounting firm, the client base they have everything from tradespeople to professionals to landlords. Their needs differ immensely, but also in terms of actually what these business owners actually want to do in terms of respect to their bookkeeping. Pretty much all of them are able to raise sales invoices in some shape or form. Some of them are probably still doing them on Word, and maybe the first challenge is actually to showcase what you can actually do within software to actually create, generate, and send a sales invoice to a customer, and also get paid faster. And this is the whole point, is actually breaking down not just what the software can actually do, but also maybe the training process, in terms of just approaching the elements which the clients will see instant value. And then over the next sort of 12, 18 months, even a couple of years, in terms of actually how you transition the workload, clients will become more confident in terms of using new technologies or an application, and will actually naturally start to do more themselves. And we've seen this over the last couple of years in terms of how accountants have basically onboarded a client to an invoicing solution. And over a couple of months, they've now started processing transactions into the bank, reconciling the bank, looking at terms of how they can actually do more reporting. And this really comes down to the benefits of the cloud, in terms of the fact that the applications are far more intuitive and easier to use.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Emily, I mean, building on that, can you tell us a little bit what your MTD training program looks like, maybe in terms of both the timing for particular groups, but how you're delivering the learning to the clients and holding their hands?
Yeah, I mean, we all know that we don't have time to sit side by side by every single client and get them onboarded, spending hours at a time with each individual client. So we've come up with two different mechanisms with our training. One of which is we will do like local events at like pubs or conference centres close to our village, with clients where we invite them down. We introduce ourselves, introduce the software, explain the benefits, ensuring that the clients that we're talking to are all on a similar level in terms of their industries and what they require from the software. So you're trying to target as many clients as possible in one go. We've then taken the opportunity to start recording our own videos, which we're currently in the process of doing, showing how the software works, when clients are on the software, if they've got any questions. Obviously, with the first phase of MTD with VAT, we know what the regular questions were, so to speak, with the software. So creating little tutorial videos, and our plan is to set up a YouTube channel in our accountancy name, so we can just give the link to clients, and any questions that you have, please feel free to use this link. And once we've got everybody on board, that's the way we're going to plan on going, is try and have pre-recorded videos and tutorials for our clients to access instantly.
And is there any particular technique, Emily, that works best for actually that kind of making the switch go on and getting clients to embrace digital record keeping?
Yeah, and you'll have the clients that no questions asked, they will just be like, yeah, I'm down for this, I really want to try it, I want to see how it goes, how it can benefit my business. And then you have the people a bit skeptical and, well, I don't really need this technology, what I'm using now is fine. But we have drawn on the experience of COVID and people having to go to technology where before they thought they didn't need to, but they have actually had to, and they've actually seen, it's not actually that bad. It's a lot more helpful than I thought. Just little things like people that never used Zoom before, and they were forced to use that during the pandemic. So drawing on clients' personal experiences and bringing that into the conversation of MTD has been a huge win for us in persuading people and clients to engage with MTD a lot earlier than expected and see how the benefits can push through for their business and help them grow as well.
Right, that's a good point. I think the proactive and being prepared. But Chris, would you add any other nuances or suggestions about enabling clients or convincing them to make the shift to a software-based record keeping system, filing system?
Well, in some respects, think about your clients and think about their pain points on a daily basis. Quite often, they're thinking about how do they get paid faster? How do they keep on top of their cash flow? How do they actually better understand their own personal tax position? And whether you're doing real-time business updates or having a tax estimate, just being on top of your own business performance is basically one of the key drivers in terms of why a small business owner would see value from using technology. But also, following on, let's say, Emily's point of view in terms of the short videos, we've seen that as of immense value. We've seen so many accountants actually using their YouTube channels and even enlisting certain videos to create that personal touch. Because at the end of the day, you want to be able to scale up that whole training approach to, let's say, a huge number of clients, but also that clients will have confidence in the fact that they can actually watch something repeat over and over and over again until they're actually happy with it, which is great in terms of the client because they're seeing the value which the accounting firm is delivering, but also it's an absolute huge time saver for the accounting firm itself.
And of course, we're practicing what we preach right here. This video is one of 4 that we've put together with you, Chris and Sage, to step people through the kind of project planning and the implementation, and as I say, probably the hardest mountain to climb, the client training. So thank you very much for that, and I hope people continue to watch. So just before we go, Emily, you've given us some really good ideas and just given us a picture of how you're climbing that mountain. But for someone going away, what they should do next, what's your sort of final parting message? What idea do you want people to take away from this video?
I think opening up communications with your clients is an absolute must. Engaging with them now, at least, to explain to them what is coming and what your plans are as their accountant, to help engage and move them through this process. All it takes is your client to be chatting to a friend in the pub and their accountants got this done, got that done, moved them on board, started with the training, uploading videos, and it can just sway the mind of somebody. So engage with your clients and let them know what your plan is to help them through and give them that reassurance as well.
Thank you very much. Good. The letting them know what your plan are, that's essential, isn't it? Chris, anything to add or a final message from Sage?
I think the key thing is to consider a multi-channel approach. Think about, first of all, how can you actually provide training and support and education to the majority of your clients efficiently. So this is obviously in terms of videos. Then the next stage has certainly got to be like event-based training and awareness. And then thirdly is actually that sort of one-to-one approach. And really that's the priority settings in terms of actually creating time and capacity, but also, let's say, the whole general client experience. And with everything in life, if you still have difficulties out or you just want help and support, just reach out to your technology partner, because they're there to actually provide additional resources, whether it's email templates or the training videos.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. We'll say we have reached out to you, and this is part of that continuing program that both Sage and AccountingWEB are dedicated to over the next couple of years, as well as watching the companion videos in this series. Can I direct you to sage.com, probably /MTD. There's an MTD hub at Sage with loads of resources, programs, white papers to help support you. I think some materials to help educate clients as well. And of course, AccountingWEB.co.uk is there always to keep our finger on the latest happenings in MTD, tax, and of course, in the wider world of practice. Thanks so much for viewing again. We look forward to seeing you on one of these other videos soon. Bye for now.